Hi, this is John, and this is Flat Earth, an average guy's perspective, number 2. There were some things I wanted to say in my first video that I completely forgot to say. I have somewhat of an attention deficit, and sometimes I have trouble staying on track, doing two things at once, like talking and thinking at the same time. But yeah, so anyway, this time I made notes, so hopefully I can get through this fairly quickly without straying from the direction that I am intending to go. I first started looking into Flat Earth in September of last year, 2015. It's been almost 6 months now, and I have watched hundreds of videos since then. And I've been looking into Flat Earth. It's, for the first time in my life, I'm actually excited about learning. I was never that way in school. I didn't like school. I went because I had to. You know, everybody else has to go. You have to go too. Anyway, this Flat Earth is pretty cool. I mentioned Occam's razor. The simplest solution is generally the correct one. I would also like to state that the KISS principle, perhaps you've heard of it, KISS, keep it simple, stupid, is a very useful tool in life. We as humans tend to complicate things. We overthink just about everything. I mean, if you just keep it simple, you'll figure it out. Usually, I like to work on old cars, and KISS principle usually is the way to go. Life is much simpler on a flat plane. There's no complex theories or complicated mathematics involved in it. The flat plane. You know, there's sea level is level. Everywhere you go at sea level it's sea level. There's no bending the ocean around a spinning ball. It's level. It's all, water finds its level and it maintains. You can't bend it around a ball. There's no complex theories like gravity, the magic force that holds everything to the ball. People in Australia aren't upside down, stuck to the ball by this magic force of gravity. Australia is just across the plane on the other side. There's a quote by Tesla, not the 80s rock band, but the scientist guy. The quote goes like this: "Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality." That's what happened with the globe theory. Everybody knew the world was flat until one day some guy came along and said, "Oh no, it's a ball. We're spinning through space. We're circling the sun." And the globe, there was no proof of the globe. Air travel hadn't been invented. Nobody's been up above the clouds. There were no hot air balloons. It was a theory that they started building math. They started throwing math at it to prove it. And like that quote, they wander off through equation after equation and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. That's the globe model. Unproven, except with math. People say, well, math is the universal language. Just because it's universally accepted doesn't make it right or true. A lie is a lie, even if everybody believes it. And truth is truth, even if no one believes it. So math doesn't prove anything. The flat plane, up is up, down is down. If I have a visual aid, I have a pin, and if I release it from my grip, what happens? Anybody? Correct. It falls. Was that gravity? No. The molecules that make up this pin, the plastic, the ink, it's got a little rubber grip on it, are more dense than the molecules of the air surrounding it. The molecules of the air will not support the weight. These molecules are more dense, so they fall. So it falls when you let go. Like that. Density and mass make an object heavy. There's no gravity. Density and mass. More visual aids. This is a piece of steel. It's very dense. It is 2.5 pounds. This, also steel. Very dense. Considerably heavier. Why? It's bigger. Mass. Density and mass make an object heavy. No gravity involved. Simple. Up is up, down is down. Objects fall because they're heavy. If it floats, it's lighter than air. Helium, fill a balloon with helium, it goes up. If you filled it with hydrogen, it would also go up. Lighter than air, floats. Heavier than air, falls. It's not complicated. Keep it simple, right? Don't overthink it. It's not necessary. So, they're talking about gravity, the core of the earth. You've seen the cutaway. This much is crust and mantle and magma and liquid molten stuff at the center. The deepest hole that's ever been drilled in the history of mankind to date, even with today's technology, 8 miles. So how do they get this ball cross-section? Speculation. They're guessing. You can't. If you want to say this is what the first 8 miles looks like, I will believe you, because they can show me the hole. This goes 8 miles down. Okay. It goes 8 miles down. That's how thick is the plane that we live on? It's at least 8 miles, because they've drilled down that far. But they can't go any farther. It doesn't work. So it's speculation. That little cross section that shows all the different layers and stuff, they're guessing. It doesn't exist. It's not a ball. Right? You don't need all the complex theories and math. The sun isn't 93 million miles away. It's much closer, and much smaller. oh, it's 400 times bigger than the moon, but it's also 400 times farther away, so it appears to be the same size. The sun and moon are the same size, and they're not as far as they say they are. They circle above the plane that we live on, the flat plane. They circle. The sun shines down like a spotlight. It's around 24 hours. I've seen some really good time-lapse photography of a sunrise and a sunset, and I think I will put a link in the description of this video. I see it flashing. I don't know what's going on when I'm talking. The picture seems to dim and brighten. Anyway, I'll put a link to the, it was distracting. Squirrel! Yeah, a link in the description to a time-lapse sunrise and sunset. You can see it. Once you realize what's going on, you're on a flat plane, you can see the sun. It moves towards you, passes overhead, and moves away from you. It's perspective, the distance. It moves that direction until it reaches the vanishing point, the point of convergence on the horizon, where you can no longer see its light. It's not the Earth rotating. The sun is traveling away as it sets, or it's traveling towards you. I'll put a link in the description. There's another video. I referenced it in my first video about the high altitude weather balloon, over 120,000 feet up, which is more than 22 miles. The sun in that video is obviously not 93 million miles away. It looks very close. Very close. I'll put a link to that video in my description as well. So the Earth is flat, and that is that. It's simple. So basically, I think that's it. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't overthink this thing. It's not necessary. Thanks for watching.